At this age, I want our retirement portfolio to do two things. First, I want it to last the rest of our lives and provide dependable, reliable income. That's the most important thing by far. Secondly, I like it to last the rest of our lives so that we don't have to worry about money. I think I've designed a portfolio to do exactly that on both of these, and that's what I'll be sharing in this video. Before I show you our portfolio, there are a few things you may need to know about us. As you probably know by now, I'm 78 years old, and nobody really knows how much longer they will live. So I need long-term dependable income. I also need protection against inflation. Just longevity is one thing, but inflation's another thing, and that can eat away at your portfolio, especially cash flow, especially bonds, income from bonds and annuities and things like that. We have no debt. We got our house paid off and had debt in 20 years probably. And we live a fairly modest life. And I don't see that changing. We've been married for 53 years. We have no children. So we're not looking, to build any generational wealth or anything like that. Our portfolio is here to serve us the rest of our life. So with that background, let's take a look at part one. I'm going to call it part one because this is the most important part. How do we create reliable lifetime income? Notice that I'm not beginning with the traditional breakdown of stocks and bonds, how much stocks, how much bonds. That will come later, but I'm looking at reliable income as number one. So I think of reliable income as the first plank in our income floor, and that will give us once we get that covered, that'll give us much more flexibility in part two. Well, the first plank in the income floor is definitely Social Security here in the U.S. I know other countries have something similar. Marianne started drawing hers at 62, and I started mine at 70. I really like that choice I made waiting until 70 because I got a pretty good Social Security. And also that if I pass away first, that will increase Marianne's benefits to draw part of my Social Security. I've seen many other recently retired YouTubers trying to live on Social Security. I applaud them, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to make this the first plank in my income floor, and I'm certainly glad I have it. I do want to mention one thing. Financial author Bill Bernstein has got a saying that I really, really like. He said, if you've won the game, stop playing. It just means if you can cover your basic living necessities, expenses, and everything, you pretty well won the game. So that's what we're trying to cover in this income floor, part one. The rent, utilities, insurance, food, shelter, all those things for the rest of our life. And part two is more flexible. As far as what you would like to do with that. Okay, we've got Social Security is the first plank in our part one income floor. The second part is going to be a little controversial to many of you, and that's the annuities. It's not the annuities you're thinking of. I mean, annuities have a terrible reputation. I don't know about all the other different types of annuities, but I'm talking about a single payment immediate annuity. And I think at 78 years old, that's with no reason to build up generational wealth. This is ideal for us, absolutely ideal. We started it last year. We bought several. They pay monthly payment, I should say, and it pays directly to our checking account or our brokerage account, wherever you like. And it comes in like clockwork. So if you're retired and you have a pension, Marianne does have a pension, and that's nice. And this is just like that. You can count on it. It's a contract for life. These are called lifetime annuities. You give the insurance company a lump sum of money, and in turn, they will give you a payment for your whole life. We both own it jointly, and also it covers both of our lives jointly. So the payment we receive every month will continue as long as one of us is living. So if I die first, Marianne doesn't need to do anything, and we got that started. So Social Security provided the first plank, and the FIA provides the second plank. So the next plank in our income floor is bonds. So I did a 10-year bond ladder with muni bonds as well. And now that I'm 78, I stopped a few years ago replacing them and extending that. So it's dropped down to 4 or 5 years. So I still have individual muni bonds, but I found something I like a lot better, Vanguard ETFs. And they have muni bonds, but the one I like is VTES. And it pays a monthly dividend every month. So I love that. You may notice all these things in part one is very low risk. Social Security, the single payment immediate annuity, and the bonds are very secure. They don't fluctuate with the market too much. The SPIA, the annuity, does have inflation risk. You need inflation protection on that. And that's what I did in part two. Okay, in part two, let's jump into that. Part two, you got quite a bit of flexibility. So after you covered your basic living expenses, part two can be different investments. And that's going to vary depending on the person. There's an old rule of thumb is you should have fixed income equal to your age. I'm 78. I have 78% in fixed income and 22% in equities. I did not do it because of that rule of thumb, but it just worked out that way. It's just kind of reassuring that there was a rule of thumb like that. My stock equity will do the growth part, and they say that also will help with inflation protection. And what I invested in is Vanguard broad-based index of the total U.S. stock market. I think that's 65% of my total stock investment. And then I invested in the Vanguard total XUS stock markets, including emerging markets, developed markets, everything except the U.S. is 35%. Each investment has their job. Let me show you this chart. I think will help explain the job of each type of investment. This chart shows the 3 jobs in our portfolio. Social Security, the SPIAs, and our bonds provide dependable income. VTI, VXUS, and VTIP provide growth and inflation protection. SUB and cash provide liquidity. I'll add one more in there is VTIP. We also have a substantial position, in VTIP. That's Vanguard's short-term inflation-protected Treasury ETF. The principle of the underlying security adjusts with inflation. Because its securities are short-term, VTIP generally has less interest rate sensitivity than, say, a long-term TIPS fund. Its job in our portfolio is to help protect future purchasing power. And then the third thing is liquidity. I got SUB, and that is also a tax-free muni bond, but it's short-term and cash. And of course, that provides accessible reserves. So with this portfolio, we have income for today. We got growth and inflation protection power for tomorrow. You have to remind yourself about that. Stop tinkering around. It's working. Let it work. A lot of people say if they got part one in, the income floor, they could be actually way more aggressive in part two. Now, I didn't take that attitude about it. I just went 22% equities. But as long as you got your basic necessities covered, you may want 50% or 60%. And the good news is there's flexibility there. And the third thing is asset location. This chart will show you where I keep these investments and why. Asset allocation means what you own. Asset location means which type of account holds each investment. And where you hold an investment can make a meaningful difference in the taxes you pay. Let's begin with our regular taxable brokerage account. That is where we hold VTI and VXUS, our U.S. and international stock market ETFs. These broad index funds are generally tax efficient because they pay relatively modest dividends, and we don't owe capital gain taxes until we sell the shares at a profit. We also hold VTES and SUB and our individual Georgia muni bonds in the taxable account. The income from these muni investments is generally exempt from federal income tax. The interest from our Georgia muni bonds is also generally exempt from the Georgia income tax because we are Georgia residents. Their tax advantage would largely be wasted inside an IRA. Next, our traditional IRAs. That's where we hold VTIP, our short-term Treasury inflation-protected securities fund, along with our other taxable bonds. These investments produce taxable income, but inside the traditional IRAs, we don't pay taxes on that income as it is received. Taxes are deferred until we withdraw money from these accounts. Our Roth IRA is invested for long-term growth. We primarily hold VTI and VXUS there. If we follow the Roth rules, that growth can remain tax-free, and Roth IRAs do not require minimum distributions during the original owner's lifetime. Finally, our non-qualified SPIAs are held outside our retirement accounts. So it isn't only what we own that matters, it's where we own it that matters also. This is not a simple portfolio. It's kind of tailored to this stage of life. And I just love that part one, I should say, of dependable income. That really, I can tell the difference in having that in place. It serves my needs especially well. I want us to take a minute and say thank you so much for the comments. I really love the comments. I read every single one of them. I reply to them. I like them. I've learned so much. Many people say that's why they watch my videos is the comments. So please take a minute, if you will, and make a comment of what you think about my portfolio, what you think about your portfolio, most importantly. Is it working for you? Or do you feel good about it? Is it doing what it's supposed to do at this time of life? Has it changed in this late stage of life? Has it changed from what it was before? Well, thanks for watching. I'm Robert's Active Retirement.